Hello, and welcome to the Ancient Journey. On today's journey, Ashley Reeves was left for dead. Before we get started, don't forget, if you enjoy the video, please give us a like and a share, and if you're into our content, please subscribe. It helps grow the channel, and it keeps us producing these videos. Ashley Reeves is a junior in high school in Millstadt, Illinois. She's at that jumping off point in life where there's an ocean of potential just ahead of her. She is only 1 year away from her graduation and from there possibly college. Young, bright, and pretty, she has found a boyfriend that her family likes and is even about to set off for a job interview one Thursday afternoon. From the outside looking in, the world is hers to hold in her hands, but Ashley is hiding a terrible secret, and by later that evening, she will be left for dead in the cold, rainy woods just a short distance from home. She leaves driving her boyfriend's SUV, telling her parents she is off to Fairview Heights for a job interview. She also tells her boyfriend she would spend time after the interview shooting hoops at a local basketball park. Ashley assured her parents she would be home by curfew and set off into the April afternoon. But Ashley misses her curfew first by 1 hour and then by 2. She's now missing for several hours. Ashley doesn't answer calls or texts from her family, and after reaching out to her friends, her family's horrified to learn that she isn't answering them either. Ashley's mother calls the police. Generally, calls like this could be treated with something less than urgency. A teen who is missing for a few hours often isn't missing at all, but has simply stayed out too late. This type of call is one police receive a lot of. But in what would be a great stroke of luck for Ashley, the detective on the other end of the phone is Lieutenant Stephen Johnson, and something about the story makes his ears prick up. Johnson pleads his case to his captain and explains the need for the search for Ashley to begin right away. It isn't long after that Ashley's SUV is discovered parked at Latterman Park in Belleville, about 15 minutes from Ashley's home. Inside the SUV are Ashley's basketball clothes and her outfit for the job interview, but Ashley is nowhere to be found. Ashley's boyfriend, Jeremy Smith, has been with her for 2 years. Ashley's family think very highly of him, but police quickly find him to determine if he has any involvement in Ashley's disappearance. But Smith was out of town when Ashley went missing and has no idea what happened to her. But it's during that police interview that Smith drops a key detail to detectives. Ashley was going to play basketball after her job interview. But why would she want to play basketball alone in a park far from home? The investigators have interviewed Ashley's family and her boyfriend, and now move on to her circle of friends. And one of them drops a bombshell right into the detectives' laps. Ashley would often meet an older man at local parks to play basketball, and the man was someone in the small town that everyone knew, 27-year-old Samuel Shelton. Samuel Shelton had been Ashley's teacher in the 7th grade, and now, just 4 years later, was a gym teacher at a rival high school in Freeburg, Illinois. Shelton, just like Ashley, had a hidden secret. He was an aspiring professional wrestler, going by the ring name, The Teacher. As this bombshell settles into the laps of the police, Ashley's parents are not sitting still and waiting. They have dug deeply into her life, turning over any stone they could find, and eventually are able to get her cell phone call records. They find a phone number on the statement they do not recognize, and they find it there over and over and over again. They call it, and there on the other end is the teacher. Sam was out line dancing that night, he said. No, he hadn't heard or seen from her, he said. And then he hung up the phone on Ashley's mother. Ashley's boyfriend doesn't believe that there could possibly be any involvement between Ashley and the teacher other than platonic, but the phone records, and more importantly Ashley's friends, tell quite a different story. Ashley has told friends that she is romantically involved with a much older man, and that she was going to meet him instead of going to that job interview. Police rush to the Freeburg High baseball practice and grab up the teacher for his interview. Shelton is cooperative and friendly and paints a picture of Ashley as an obsessed young girl who wouldn't leave him alone. He tells police he had been trying to avoid her due to her advances. But in another stroke of luck for Ashley, police aren't buying the teacher's story. Sergeant Daniel Stockett, who is part of the team investigating the teacher, feels like Shelton is just playing along and hoping that eventually the police will tire of the cat-and-mouse game and leave him alone. One of the other detectives, Michael Hundelt, felt the same way. Starting off, I felt like he knew more than what he was telling us, Hundelt said. Detectives pick up their bombshell and lay it on the table in front of Shelton. What did he have to say about Ashley's friend's details of their relationship? And slowly, Shelton unravels. He admits to sex and a relationship with the teenager, and he admits to kicking her out of his car that night when she went missing. She was screaming, kicking everything, Shelton says during the interrogation. Put her down, shut the door, ran the car, I took off. I left her there is what I did. I left her out there by Radio Range Road. I left her right out there. And again, luck is on Ashley's side. Detectives continue to chip away at Shelton for hours, and lie by lie they continue to watch him implode. And as Shelton takes a bathroom break, he runs into Detective Stephen Johnson. Johnson knows Shelton. He'd been an advisor to Shelton when Shelton was in a Boy Scouts program designed to teach scouts about law enforcement. Johnson racks his brain, trying to recall details about Shelton that will help him step into the interview and break down those final few lies to find out what happened to Ashley. And Johnson recalls the one name that causes Shelton to fall apart. If I left from here, and I went and talked to Grandma right now, and I laid down this whole story you're saying, what's Grandma going to say? Johnson asked Shelton in the interrogation room. After several minutes of tears, Shelton cracks. The interrogation began some 12 hours ago. Can I go show you what happened? Shelton says in the recording. I'd have to show you. Shelton admits the crime to police. He had placed Ashley in a chokehold, hearing her neck snap beneath his grip. He had dragged her into the woods, and to ensure she was dead, he tried to finish her off by strangling her with his hands. When that doesn't work, Shelton places a belt around her neck and pulls hard enough that the belt breaks. He reties it and begins again. Satisfied she is finally dead, he flees the scene. He leads police to the area in the cold, rainy darkness. It's been 30 hours since Ashley was missing. The police push deeper and deeper into the thick forest, and soon they come upon Ashley's body. She is covered in insect bites, lying on her back, dead. And then, in a moment that causes hearts to flutter, Ashley's hands move. Her chest rises in a deep breath, and detectives realize Ashley is alive. Paramedics are called, and they don't think she's even going to make it out of the wooded area to the ambulance, but she does. And back at the station, Shelton's reactions continue to amaze detectives. Am I going to be able to get, my contact solution and take my contacts out and a toothbrush? Shelton asked during the interrogation. I can't take my contacts out? Reality has yet to sink in for this self-absorbed teacher who doesn't seem at all concerned about the girl he admittedly tried to strangle in the woods. Am I going to get, a private toilet? Because I can't pee when there's people around because of my urinary stress disorder, Shelton says during the interview. I don't know, Sam, the officer tells him. I'll tell them that's what you want, but I don't know if they'll be able to do that. Because I'll be miserable if I can't pee, Shelton says. Shelton is charged and makes bail, and while out attempts suicide with pills and alcohol, hastily writing, "Do not resuscitate" on his chest with a marker. He attacks the EMTs when they arrive, but Shelton is saved and he still stands trial for the attempted murder. He's sentenced to 20 years in prison after Ashley's family agrees to the plea deal. Ashley recovers from her attempted murder. She now has a family and a busy life, although her rehabilitation took years to accomplish. Sam Shelton remains in prison. Thanks for watching, and thanks for sharing the journey.